The Enlightenment. What a time to be alive.
Carla, enlighten me. What was the Enlightenment?
Oh, Effie, I'm so glad you asked. Enlightenment was the influential intellectual and cultural movement of the late 17th and 18th centuries. It introduced a new worldview based on rationalism by using reason, not faith, to reach conclusions about the world. The Enlightenment was a period of shift from the strongly religiously based society to a more secular worldview. Those who pioneered these new ideas were called Enlightenment philosophers. Each of these philosophers were able to publish their beliefs, which spread all across Europe, catching in the upper and lower classes, but especially in the working middle class. This led to increased literacy, a more laissez-faire capitalism, and revolutions in America and France.
Naturally, France became the hub of the Enlightenment ideas. Can you guess why? French was the international language of the educated class. It was also the most wealthy and populous country in Europe.
That's where the philosophers come into play. The philosophers were a group of French intellectuals who proclaimed that they were bringing the light of knowledge to their fellow humans in the age of enlightenment.
They would create novels, plays, histories, philosophies, dictionaries, and encyclopedias. You name it. Anything to spread their ideas of rationalism and Enlightenment thought. Perhaps the most interesting aspect of the movement was the collaboration between the philosophers.
The philosophers would meet in places called salons. Salons were large, elegant rooms for parties of the wealthy. Many of the brightest minds of the Enlightenment assembled in salons to discuss literature, science, and philosophy.
The hosts of these salons were typically women. Since women hosted these gatherings, they had an influence on the discussions that took place, allowing women to have a role in the movement, though small.
The Enlightenment was discussed among the elite, but what about the common people? The ideas of these Enlightenment philosophers were discussed with great passion in the public spheres. The public sphere was an intellectual space where a community came together to discuss important issues relative to society, economics, and politics.
Wow. Oh, hey. Most of the time, these were held in libraries, coffee houses, book clubs, and lodges. Common people had never really had a role in intellectual movements until this point, but the printing press and mass publication of works of philosophers increased literacy rates, gave people access to Enlightenment works, and sparked discussions.
Now, let's take a look into a salon during the height of the Enlightenment period. Oh, hey!
Come in.
Welcome to our humble salon.
We're gathering the brightest people of the Enlightenment to discuss their views on society.
And without further ado, let's meet our philosophers.
My name is Russo. You may have seen my work, The Social Contract, about popular sovereignty and the general will of the people. I support a strong connection, a community, and strict gender roles. In my opinion, children should be raised with patience. They are inherently good, and parents should shelter that goodness.
Hello, I'm Locke. I wrote the 2 treatises of government, and I'm a firm believer in the idea that human beings are blank slates, with their nature being determined by their experiences and their education. Along with this, I think the government's main duty should be to preserve citizens' natural rights. And with this, the people should be able to replace rulers that aren't representatives of the people.
Hello, I am Hobbes. I wrote the Leviathan to exhibit my views on government. People should enter a contract with their government to consent to absolute reign. I am an advocate for absolute rulers. The purpose of government is to maintain order in society. I believe that people are inherently evil, competing violently for wealth and power.
Hello, my name is Voltaire. I'm a talented writer of over 70 works. People refer to me as the Prince of Philosophers. Catherine the Great showed support and interest in my writings. I am one of the most successful philosophers of the Enlightenment, and I believe in the religious concept of deism.
I am Mary Wollstonecraft. You may know me as the writer of the Vindication of the Rights of Women. I'm the front of the women's rights movement of the time, as I believe that women have reason, and therefore are entitled to the same rights as men.
I wrote The Spirit of Laws, and I'm a firm believer in limiting the use of absolutism. I also strongly believe in the separations of power in government with checks and balances.
I am Diderot. I wrote the first encyclopedia.
Dear philosophers, please sit down at this table so we can begin our Enlightenment discussion.
Wait a minute, there are not enough seats for everybody here.
Oh?
Looks like somebody needs to get kicked out of the salon.
I feel as though everyone has a natural right to be here.
No, Locke, since there aren't enough seats, it should be decided by Democratic majority.
Over so, the women are the hosts of the salon, so we get to decide who's invited, so we're gonna be the ones who decide who's kicked out.
Russo, you got it all wrong. We need one leader with absolute power, so the order of the salon is maintained. If we let people vote, discussion will get out of control.
No, the power of the host should be balanced. We need a set of rules, a constitution, to decide the course of action we should take.
No. We need a republic voting system. Down with the monarchy.
All right, philosophs. We will make our decision. Right now, just state your cases with your company.
I'll start. I've constructed this concept called deism. God made us, but he's no longer controlling the world. How can I explain this? Oh, okay. It's like a clock, and it was made by a watchmaker, but it runs by itself.
What an interesting theory. I suppose it could be possible that our universe runs by itself.
It is a unique idea. And that would explain why God hasn't intervened in the natural world at all.
Wow, what an interesting theory. Voltaire, with your unique Enlightenment outlooks and countless writings, you're a crucial part of the Enlightenment movement.
It would be almost impossible to vote Voltaire out.
He's a crowd favorite.
Hey Diderot, what are you doing over here?
Dude, don't bother him. He needs a bunch of focus. He wrote a book about everything, you know.
There's no way you can shove all the information of the world into a book.
Let's not underestimate Diderot. He did write the first encyclopedia, after all.
Hobbs, you look pretty grumpy. What's up with that?
Wouldn't you like to know, Locke? You're always in my way with your idea of a government for the people and your tabula rasa crap. Why would you even believe in that?
Well, you see, if you weren't so pessimistic all the time, you could see that people aren't inherently evil and are instead shaped by their environment and experiences. You need to stop living in the past, Hobbes. Absolutist rule isn't the way to govern anymore. The people want representative governments. Hobbes, I think we should start a tabula rasa, a blank state, if you will.
I would never agree to such a thing. We were bound to be enemies from the start, and it shall stay that way.
I still don't understand why we have a woman in here. I think she should be kicked out of the salon. What could she possibly contribute to the discussion?
That's a completely irrational claim. I have a reason just like you to be here. So why should I be kicked out? At least I'm making a contribution to the Enlightenment.
Your purpose is to look after children and shelter their natural born goodness.
I agree that motherhood is important, but women mother with purpose. If women were provided with an equal education as men, we would contribute equally to society.
Yeesh, the claws seem to be out between these philosophs.
Yes, indeed, Effie. Which one of these philosophs will be removed from the salon?
Find out after this short break.
Those kids, they were good kids, but we still had a job to do. Wake up, soldier! Wake up! We need to move!
All right, philosophs. It's time to vote one of you out.
You've all presented your contributions to the Enlightenment, and we've determined which one of you has the least to bring to the table.
Literally.
If we say your name, please have a seat at the table.
The first person to be invited to the table is Voltaire. You may take a seat, you wonderful enlightened man.
The second person to be invited to the table is Mary Wollstonecraft.
Your calls for gender equality are important to society. You may take a seat. Rousseau, you may take a seat.
Locke, please take a seat.
This philosophe we've decided to remove from the salon
Is Hobbes.
We're sorry, but you are no longer invited to this event.
We've decided to vote you off because of your negativity on this period of time and your support for absolute monarchies.
Diderot, get over here. Your encyclopedia, though boring, is spreading the ideas of the Enlightenment and informing the common people.
Now let's party.
Why me? Diderot barely said anything this whole time. Whatever, you guys are all inherently evil.
The Enlightenment. What a time to be alive. Tell me when to go. The philosophers would meet in places. Stop, you're making me laugh.
French was the language of the educated class. Frank.
All right, philosophers. All right, let's start again.
I think she should get kicked out of the salon. What could she possibly contribute to the discussion?
That's a completely irrational.
Gee. Say the line.
It's
What
not a
line?
line. Dude, don't bother him. He needs
You should probably.
Wonderful enlightened man.
Oh no.
from the salon. Shit. I
Ew.